Ladies and gentlemen, this is it. This is the main event of the evening and is presented by GoDaddy.com, the official website and domain partner of BAMMA. The three judges scoring this contest are Judge Andy Roberts, Judge Paul Sutherland, and Judge Julie Mahmood. And now, the moment we've been waiting for. Live from the National Indoor Arena in beautiful Birmingham, England. The fighters are ready. I am ready. Birmingham, England, are you ready? Then, fighters, it's time to bring it on! Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner. This man is a mixed martial arts fighter with a professional record of 21 wins, 6 losses, with 6 wins coming by TKO. He stands 5 feet 10 inches tall and weighed in at 185 pounds. From Leicestershire, England, ladies and gentlemen, Jim Wallhead. His opponent fighting out of the blue corner. This man is a wrestler with a professional record of 21 wins, 8 losses, with 10 wins coming by TKO. He stands 5 feet 8 inches tall and weighed in at 185.5 pounds. From Sin City, Las Vegas, Nevada, USA. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Frank Twinkle Toes And when the action gets underway, your referee for this contest is Mark Goddard.
I need you to listen to me at all times, keep yourself protected. When I say stop, you stop. If you want to touch gloves, do it now. Let's do it.
So here we go, our big main event of the evening. And Stephen, I think a question was answered emphatically there. Is Jim Wallhead up for it? Did you see the intensity of that man?
Yes, I did, and so did Frank Trigg. And Jim Wallhead did the uppercut touching of the gloves, which I love. It's a sneaky move. And Wallhead coming out and circling Trigg to southpaw. Trigg with a side kick.
And as you said before, I mean, the man's seen it all. He's been there, he's done it. So in terms of that intensity from Wallhead, that won't really affect him, will it? He's been there with the best.
You're absolutely right. And what I like so far about Wallhead, he's using his jab very effectively.
Yes, against the southpaw Frank Trigg.
But that side kick is a real annoying problem, especially when it lands right on the knee like that.
Yes, nice variety there from him.
Yeah, because a lot of guys, they practice against low roundhouse kicks and they learn how to block and check the low roundhouse kick. But when the side kick comes, they're befuddled. They don't know what to do. But the check and the block is the same as it would be for a roundhouse kick.
So when we see, as we said, this is so much at stake here, and they're obviously cagey with the mutual respect. But I will be very intrigued at which man decides to go to ground first. What's your take on that?
Well, I think it's a situation where, obviously, this being 2011, when you go to the ground and you're this well-rounded, you definitely want to be on top. Because that way you can drill home a win the same way Trigg did in his last fight with Phillips. So Trigg is thinking, you know, this guy's probably pretty good in the clinch. Probably wants to stay on the outside, throw those side kicks. Now Trigg has changed up his game plan a little bit. He's fading back. Wallhead pressing the action.
Yes, you can hear the crowd chanting and cheering, but as you said, at this level, the man on top, mistakes can be so vital. You can't blame them for this start.
I just flashed on something. At the very beginning of the UFC, Royce Gracie came out and threw a little stomp kick to set up a clinch. And I thought, is Frank Trigg doing the same thing with that little side kick? Because it's not a devastating move. He's trying to distract Wallhead.
You took the words out of my mouth. I said, that's what I'm going to say. I think it's giving Wallhead food for thought all the time.
Oh, side kick to the body. Frank Trigg goes right under. Wallhead steers back.
Short chopping jab from Trigg this time.
Wallhead came loaded for bear in this one.
Yeah, you could see from the moment he came in how important this was to him. And that was one of the factors we thought of, is by contrast, just how important is this to Frank Trigg?
Wallhead hasn't thrown a kick yet, but I'm thinking that right low kick to the inside of Frank's left thigh is forthcoming.
Well, in an opening round, we've got to say, is it the way you thought it would go, Stephen? We're in the last 2 minutes, and has it gone the way you thought? We're just hearing a few little boos from some of the people in the crowd. I don't think that's fair with what's at stake, but what's your take on that opening 3 minutes?
Now they have the clinch. Trigg with his back up against the fence. I like the way he pushed off there. Trigg has got so many different moves.
I'm happy to trade jabs now with Wallhead.
He's trying to open Wallhead up. The side kick didn't work. Now he's going to the jab.
And you can hear the chants of judo from the crowd. Judo, judo. And Wallhead responds. He responds.
He got it with a left hook. Trigg is in trouble here.
And Wallhead noticed it. Steve, it's from the moment there was those chants of judo, Wallhead responds, and he clocks Trigg.
He froze Frank Trigg in his tracks with a left hand and goes to the elbow. Smart move. Trigg with a double whammy punch to the eardrum.
But the elbow's raining down from Wallhead, which is the way that Trigg finished Phillips in such devastating fashion, those elbows. Now, with the last minute counting right down, Steve, I think this might be enough for Wallhead to definitely take this first round.
Oh, there's no question, because he basically hurt Frank Trigg, and Frank was on the verge of going, but Frank, being the savvy veteran, got guard and got wrist control. Now Frank is firing back from the bottom.
Yes, he's regained composure, but it was a great shot, and it was just as Wallhead's fans got behind him, and he's finishing strongly now with his ground and pound, and the bell couldn't come early enough for Trigg. And Stephen, right at the end of that first round, with Wallhead in the ascendancy, Frank Trigg was cut with one of those elbows.
Yeah, Frank Trigg, he got caught, and he got basically put on his back, and Jimmy Wallhead seized the moment, definitely won that round. Trigg has got to regroup and figure out something new, because what he's doing right now is playing right into the hands of a very hungry Jim Wallhead.
Yes, and you can see Wallhead is ready and raring to go and setting again under just too much water there.
An old trick. Oh, it's a Muay Thai trick. Too much ice. They buy more time for Frank Trigg to clear his head.
A lot of grease on that eye where the cut is. And again, we talk of motivation. That will give Wallhead even more incentive now.
It was the left hook that did the damage for Wallhead. Trigg going in for that body lock or something. He needs the clinch. He needs Wallhead on his back.
Yes, he hasn't managed that in the first round, and right at the end there, the explosion of technique from Jim Wallhead. Huge dividends for him with the cut under the right eye of Frank Trigg.
Frank Trigg was trying to set traps with the side kick, with the jab, and then it was Jimmy Wallhead all along who was setting a trap for that Team Roughhouse staple, the left hook.
And again, he's played a very patient game, hasn't he, Wallhead?
A very smart game, because, oh, there it finally is. I knew he was going to throw that kick eventually. But now he doesn't feel threatened. Frank Trigg answers back.
Yes, Trigg is still most definitely in this fight.
Problem is, if you get a guy kicking, his opponent will throw the right hand as a counter, and that will result in a knockdown.
And as you said that, the right hand came and just brushed the face of Frank Trigg. But I just get the feeling, Stephen, that Wallhead is just beginning to turn up the heat noticeably.
Wallhead circling to his left in a very wise move, but Wallhead has to be careful of those left kicks. He finally checks one.
Now, you mentioned earlier, Frank really needs to get Wallhead on his back, but I don't see any attempt at that yet, Stephen.
No. But Wallhead isn't making it possible because he's out hustling Trigg here. He's going and he's changing his punch combinations. He went with a right to the body, left to the head, then he went head-body again. So he's really giving Trigg cause to think.
And Wallhead, the confidence is oozing from him, but he took a short left hand there, Steve.
Trigg coming in, brawling, got Wallhead up against the cage. Wallhead did eat a few shots in that exchange.
Little smile at Frank Trigg, but I think it's because he ate those shots, as you said, and you've mentioned many times before that you have to change tactic. That was a good change of tactic by Frank Trigg.
It really was. Wallhead dropping down to keep Frank honest because Frank's feet are pretty close together.
And Frank Trigg just slapping the ears of Jim Wallhead as well and trying his own knee. We're halfway through the round and it's been a different round to the first one.
It really has, because Trigg is engaging him in the boxing match. Trigg fading back, using that shoulder to block some of those punches.
And he is dangerous with that left hand from that southpaw stance.
Yeah, there is a sense of urgency from Frank Trigg. He knows he lost that first round. Coming back, he's got to win the second round to make this into a competitive fight.
Now, Wallhead was strong at the beginning of the round, so has Frank done enough in the second half as we're counting down to bring that around?
Frank has done a lot of good work here, and he's landed a lot of good shots. Wallhead hasn't been quite as effective because Wallhead hurt Frank Trigg in the first round. Frank hasn't hurt Wallhead, and Wallhead's face shows that, but he's landed a number of good shots. But Wallhead is still there with that jab.
Yeah, it's a nice jab, and he's landed it 3 times cleanly there.
Wallhead trying to buy back the round from Trigg.
And that low kick again from Trigg, working for him once more. And as you mentioned, Stephen, Frank Trigg really coming up on the boxing now. He's happy to stand and trade.
Trigg moving away, trying to chop in, but Trigg is getting slower when he gets into those shootouts. Frank Trigg with a right jab of his own.
So, Stephen, we're in the last minute of this round. You're saying that Frank's beginning to fade. What about the round overall now?
Frank is buying back, the round. It's gone back and forth a little bit, but Trigg starting to be the busier fighter with his jab.
So at the moment, with Frank Trigg coming out, we face the situation of going into the next round totally even.
I think so. I think that Frank Trigg has got this round, and he's back in the fight. Very competitive match so far.
So there you have it. We've got it as round 2 comes to an end. Coming to an end now. We've got it as 1 round each, perfectly balanced here. So, Stephen, this is a really intriguing third round in the sense that we've got them 1 apiece, and they're both in pretty good shape still at the moment. How do you see this? It's so finely balanced.
Well, one thing for sure, Jim Wallhead is starting to load up. At the beginning of this round, it looked like the beginning of the first round, but here they are shooting it out, and he rocked him again. Frank took that shot and pressed forward.
Well, he took a little shot afterwards as well. As you said, he wobbled, but he came back forward. And Wallhead really has nailed him twice cleanly. And Frank, that's that veteran, isn't there? Tying him up, buying himself time, clearing his head again.
There's nothing to be said about the kind of experiences Frank Trigg has had, winning and losing both, because he gets rocked again, gets the clinch, gets the over-under.
And again, Jim Wallhead broke free there with a nice knee in reply to Trigg's knee.
Wallhead doing an excellent job of getting back on that jab and landing it. There's that right hand.
Frank Trigg has really got to be careful here, Stephen, because Wallhead is really getting his timing and his distancing right now with those shots.
Wallhead is planting his feet when he's throwing as well. He's moving, but then when he throws, he plants. Got a lot more power that way.
Now, do you see at some point here now Frank Trigg suddenly going back downstairs to take him down, or continue to? He's got the game because he's trading.
Wallhead has to be very careful here not to get too greedy. If he doesn't have Frank Trigg first, if he starts doing the shootout, he could be susceptible to the takedown.
Wallhead was pointing to his eye then, and his corner looking up a bit worried. I don't know what that was, but it's certainly not affecting him. What do you think of Frank Trigg's game plan in this third round?
I think it's basically just more of the same, try and beat the guy to the punch. But if Frank gets taken down here, it's going to be embarrassing. I don't see that happening, though. Oh, and roll on that one.
Well, Wallhead picked his moment, and it's not often I hear that. We've worked together many times, Stephen, and that's one of the first times I'm going to put that one in my little black book. That has really shocked you, hasn't it?
Yeah, well, Jimmy Wallhead slipped out of that leg attempt, going for another takedown. Frank sprawling, going with the knee. Great sequence of action here in round number 3.
So Frank Trigg is still there. His chin has been tested by Jim Wallhead and not found wanting. And his experience certainly has come to play at key moments in this round.
It's a situation where either man has to end this with an exclamation point because it's a close fight. True, it is in England and Wallhead is an English fighter. But Frank has to know that, so he knows he's got to do some damage because he got taken down earlier. Frank's going to try and take Wallhead down, but Wallhead spins him out.
Yes, the first time in the round that Frank's really gone for the maneuver, and it hasn't worked for him.
Wallhead getting ready to throw that right hand. Wallhead fading a little bit here late in round number 3.
Yes, it is late. We're inside that last minute. And again, this just makes it difficult again, Steve, because you said one man's going to put an exclamation mark on it. But, oh, Trigg, 3, 4 lead jabs from that right hand. And suddenly Wallhead's eaten them. Where do you stand on this round now?
You know, it's a very, very tough round to score. But I have Wallhead based on the fact that he's answered Frank punch for punch, and he got the takedown. So unless Trigg does something monumental, I think Wallhead's going to take this fight.
Has Frank Trigg's way he stood and traded like he is now with Jim Wallhead shocked you at all, Steve?
Well, yeah, because, I mean, it's a situation where I don't think Wallhead gave him much choice because Wallhead's staying one step away from any of those brutal punches that Frank is throwing.
Oh, look at this. What a way to end the round. Incredible stuff. Wallhead thinks he's won it.
Wow! What a competitive fight.
Now Wallhead's arms are up. He thinks he's won it. Do you agree, Steve?
I think that Wallhead won the fight. I think the last round is the one that people will debate about. But like I said before, better to have an exclamation point than to have to do an explanation.
And looking at Frank Trigg, stood and traded with Wallhead for the 3 rounds. What can he take away from this?
Well, it's a situation where Frank Trigg is one of those fighters. He's very durable. He's very experienced. I mean, did he lose his eye of the tiger because of the opponent changed?
And again, you've got to look, we're saying 40 years of age. We don't know when age catches up with any fighter. We've shown that it's different. What about the motivation now?
And now let's throw it up inside the cage.
Ladies and gentlemen, we go to the judges' scorecard. Judge Andy Roberts scores at 29-28, Wallhead. Judge Paul Sutherland scores at 29-28, Trigg. And Judge Julian Mahmood scores at 30-27, declaring the winner by split decision out of the red corner, Jim Judo
What a fight to finish off BAMMA 7. And Jim, you were fighting a legend. What a great win for you.
Biggest win of my career, mate.
You've stepped up in weight for this fight, of course.
Yeah, I think that's why I got tired. Going extra weight just took a little bit of a toll on my cardio, but I felt strong, so managed to survive.
So what's it like, you're stepping up to fight someone like Frank Trigg, and he is a legend of the sport. He's somebody who was upset that he couldn't fight Tom Watson, of course, that ended due to injury. Where does this leave you?
I'd like to fight Tom. I don't know what people think about that. I respect Tom, I get on with Tom, he's a great guy, he's a great champion. I've just beaten #1 contender, so and me and Tom can have a good tear up, so why not do it, eh?
Are you saying you're going to stay at middleweight now?
I will stay at middleweight to fight Tom, most definitely.
And Nate Marquardt obviously has been here tonight as well. He's signed to fight in December with BAMMA. Maybe there's a welterweight title fight in the cards as well. Would you drop back down?
To fight someone like Nate Marquardt, I'd give it a go, of course.
Well, listen, it's been a fantastic night for you. What do you do now? You know, biggest win of your career, you've just said it yourself. You had an 8-fight win streak with just one loss, you know, that was at Bellator. Yeah. Where'd you go now?
What, right now? I'm going party.
Right now?
Going party.
That's what we like to hear. Listen, congratulations. Anyone you'd like to thank?
All the team Rough House, Ollie Richardson at Fight Strength, Victor Estima at Gracie Baja, Energy Fuel, Fearless Fightwear, Mazaru, and of course my family.
Well, there you go. As you win the last fight of the night, he said it was the biggest win of his career. Judo Jim Wallhead!